right? But in this class, we are going to talk about how exactly do we make a linear equation, right? Now, you guys know how to solve a linear equation or how to solve two linear equations at a time. You guys are good at that. But the next thing is that how exactly do we make a linear equation? Okay, so basically it is equation of a line. This is what we need to talk about. Okay, now I'll tell you something interesting. You guys would understand everything. Just stay calm for now. Okay, for example, if I write this down, 2 comma 1, what do you guys think? What is this exactly? 2 1? Any random guess? What can this 2
Coordinate.
1 be? Very good, excellent. It is a coordinate, or it is a point basically, right? Okay, now for example, if I write it down over here, so we have the x-axis and then we have the y-axis. So we have 1 2 3, we have 1 2 3. This point is 2 1. This means x is 2 and y is 1. This is the point. Okay, let's say I write down another point. For instance, it is 3 comma 3. Again, this is a point, so this would basically be somewhere here, 3 and 3. And if I join these 2 points, this is basically a line. Like, that's obvious, it's a line. But how do I define this line? For every line, you can write down an equation, and that equation is going to be a linear equation. Okay, so it's a line. For a line, we have a linear equation. And what exactly was the thing that you guys were using to understand if it's a linear equation or if it's a quadratic equation? So for example, let's say if it is y equals 2x plus 1, or let's say if it is y equals x squared. So this power of x right here was basically telling you, here you don't have anything in the power of x. That basically means the power of x is 1. So whenever the highest power is 1, that equation is considered to be a linear equation. But for this one, you can see y equals x squared. So it means that the highest power, or the power that you can see on the variable, is basically 2, right? So that is why this was linear and this was quadratic. So I'll quickly just finish off the introduction and you guys would understand whatever I'm trying to explain. So for now, you know, in maths, we have a notation for a point. This is how we write down points. We write down both the x and y coordinates. And for line, I'll tell you how exactly we write it down, but it is going to be something linear. Like if you see a line on the map, just know that there would be a linear equation against it. Okay, anything that is coming to your mind? Any query?
No queries.
Good.
Okay, perfect. Now, how do we make this equation? Okay, those who were not able to understand the stuff I've just mentioned, it's completely fine. You would understand whatever I'm saying within a few examples. Okay, so for now, just focus on how exactly we are making equation of a line. Okay, that is important. Now I'll tell you guys. So let's get started. Think about it as example number 1. You can come across multiple scenarios. So imagine you have example 1 and you've been asked to find the equation of a line that is passing through A, that is 1 2, and B, that is, let's talk about this one, it's 3 comma 3. Okay, All right, so the question says, find the equation of a line that is passing through A and B. We have two coordinates of A and B, and you guys would get to know how exactly we use these coordinates to find the equation. So since this is the first example, you guys are not clear with the idea, so let me just make this as well. This is my y-axis, here's the x-axis. It's 1 2 3, and then it's 1 2 3 4. The first point is 1 2. This means this is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate. So x is 1, y is 2. This is the y-axis, this is the x-axis, and then it is 3 3. So both the coordinates are 3 and 3, so it would be somewhere here, and I need to connect these 2 points, and this is basically my line. Okay, so you have been asked to find the equation of this line. Okay, let me write down the general form. Okay, so it is formula for straight line. Now I'm pretty sure you guys would be having your own methods as well, because for this we have a few methods. This is the first method. Let's see if you guys are comfortable with this or not. It is y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. Okay, perfect. This is my formula. For if you guys were interested in finding out area of something, you guys do length multiplied by breadth. If you guys are interested in finding out volume of something, you do length multiplied by breadth multiplied by height. So if you guys want to find out speed, you do distance over time. Okay, so we know that in maths for different things we have different formulas, and this thing right here that I am highlighting, or basically I'm making a rectangle around, is your formula for straight line. Okay, so you need y1, you need x1, and you need this m. So x1 and y1 is basically a point on the line. So this is the line. We have this point, we have this point. You can use any of the 2 points and that is fine. But what exactly is this m? Any idea?
The slope
Very good.
or the gradient.
Excellent. Very good. Well done. Okay. So this m is basically the slope. And how do we find out the slope? Now that is a story. Okay. So this is basically the idea. Please listen to me carefully. I'll quickly just go through the contents for those who are not able to understand. It's very easy. Just like all other formulas out there, we have a formula for equation of straight line, and I've written that in the yellow box. Now in the formula, you need to plug in the unknown quantities. Okay, so the unknown quantities are basically this y1, this m, and this x1. Okay, so you guys know x1 and y1 is basically the 2 coordinates of a point that is lying on the line. Now you can see this point is lying on the line, this point is lying on the line, and these points are known, so you can easily use these 2 points in order to plug in x1 and y1. But how do we plug in m? For that you need to understand what exactly m is. M is your slope. Okay, and slope is basically rise over run. Okay, so some people call it slope, some people call it gradient. Both the things are same. Okay, how do we find slope? Now that is important. In order to find slope, you need to do y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. This is something that you guys need to remember. Okay, so in order to plug in slope over here, you first need to compute slope. And how exactly do we compute slope? It's y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. What is y1? What is x1? X1 and y1 are coordinates of a point lying on the line that we have already discussed. X2 and y2 are coordinates of a point lying on the line again. Okay, so in short, you need 2 points lying on the line, and you guys know that. Okay, you guys have been told that the line is passing through 1 2 and 3 3. So this was basically 1 2 and this is basically 3 3. It's y2 minus y1. So think about any point as the first point and any point as the second point. So imagine that this is my first point and this one is my second point. So this would be x1, this would be y1, this would be x2, and this would be y2. Okay, please stay calm. Everything would get clear in some time. Just relax. Okay, now y2 is 3 minus y1 is 2 divided by x2, that is 3 minus x1, that is 1, and this would give you 3 minus 2 is 1 divided by 3 minus 1 is 2. So this is basically your m. Now you already had x1 and y1, you have found m, so all you need to do is just plug in all the values. Okay, once again, the general formula is, or the general formula was, y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. So for x1 and y1, just take 1 2. You can even take 3 3. Just take any point lying on the line. Okay, and that would give you y minus, so if I consider 1 2 as x1 and y1, this would give me y minus 2 equals 1 by 2 into x minus 1. And upon simplification, it's y minus 2 equals 1 by 2 would be multiplied by x. It would give you 1 by 2x. And then this 1 by 2 would also be multiplied by minus 1. And that would give you minus 1 by 2. Let me just finish it up. I'll take this minus 2 on the other side and it would be added. So this would become y equals 1 by 2x minus 1 by 2 plus 2, and finally y equals 1 by 2x plus minus 1 by 2 plus 2 would give you 3 by
2.5.
1.5, right? 1.5. because
Yes.
because you have an x here. Okay, very good. So this is going to be the answer. Okay, now I can understand those who are looking at it for the first time. I'm pretty sure you guys would be very puzzled for now. That's fine. Okay, those who are clear, please stay calm. Let me just quickly go through this once and then things would get better. Okay, so forget about everything, just focus on the question. The question was, find the equation of a line. Okay, so you've been asked to find this equation of a line, and this is your formula. Just like other formulas, we have a formula for this as well. This is m. Okay, now for the formula of straight line, you need to have x1, you need to have y1, you need to have m. X1, y1 is just a point lying on the line, and you already know 2 points lying on the line. So the statement was that find the equation of a line that is passing through a, that is 1 2, and b, that is 3 3. So this made you know that 1 2 and 3 3 are basically lying on the line. So you can use 1 2, you can use 3 3, that's fine. Let me just enter the student. And then the next challenge was finding the slope. So for slope, you have a formula. It's y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. y1, x1, y2, x2. These are basically 2 points lying on the line. So from the beginning, we had 2 points, right? But I hope that you guys know these points must be 2 different points. Otherwise, when you will subtract y2 and y1, x2 and x1, you would get 0, right? Anyway, so 2 points were given, and using those 2 points, we got this final equation. Okay, now I'll tell you some important stuff about it. Or I think for this example, it's fine. Let's talk about another example, then I'll talk about that important stuff. Okay, those who were not able to understand anything, completely understandable. Do not worry, just relax. Okay, let me write down another example and then things would get clear. Let me quickly take out the examples. Okay, so imagine now it is another question. Again, same, this time around, let's say the drawing was given. Okay, so we have a line, it's something of the sort, and this coordinate is basically -2, and this coordinate right here is basically 3. This is 0, this is your y-axis, this is your x-axis, and the question says, find the equation of the given line. Okay, this again is your question. So you guys know equation of line is the question. We have our own formula, or we have a general formula. Let's just write down the formula. It's y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. You are only supposed to plug in y1, m, and x1. So for x1 and y1, you need 1 point, and for m, you need 2 points. Okay. All right. Now, where exactly are my 2 points? Now I can see that this point right here has a y coordinate of 3, but what is the x coordinate? Okay. So we write down x, y as the coordinates. If I follow the x-axis, if I follow down the point, I would be able to see that on the x-axis it is 0. Okay, so it is 0 and it is 3. Similarly, here I can see a -2. This -2 is basically on the x-axis. So I'm not too sure about the y coordinate. For that, I need to follow, and this is the y coordinate on the y-axis, and this is basically 0. So what is your learning point? Whenever something is there on the y-axis, the x coordinate is going to be 0, and whenever something is there on the x-axis, the y coordinate is going to be 0. Okay, the y coordinate, and this was your x coordinate. This would get better, do not worry, just relax. Okay, so imagine that this line was given with the 2 points 0, 3 and -2, 0, and the question is to find the equation of line. That's fine. Let's just quickly spend time for finding out m. Okay, solution. So according to the formula, it's y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. x1 and y1 is not an issue. This m is an issue. Let's spend some time for finding out m. M is basically equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay, now y2 minus y1. So you can think about any point as the first point and any point as the second point. So this way, if I think about this as my first point, this would be x1, this would be y1. If I think about this as my second point, this would be x2, this would be y2. So it's y2 minus y1, so it would be 0 minus 3 divided by x2 minus x1 minus 2 minus 0, and the gradient is going to be -3 divided by -2. Minus and minus would be cancelled, and I would be left with 3 by 2. So m turned out to be 3 by 2. M is basically the slope. Next, now we need to plug in the values. It is y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. You can use any point to plug in x1 and y1. Let's use the first point. You can even use the second point as well. That is completely fine. Overall, the answer would not get affected. Trust me, okay? So let's use the second point for now, just for the sake of change. So I can do it this way as well. It's y minus 0 equals 3 by 2 into x minus, and now the x coordinate is minus 2. And this would be y equals 3 by 2 would be multiplied by x. It would give me 3 by 2x. And then minus and minus would be multiplied. This would become plus 3 by 2 multiplied by 2 would give me positive 3. And this is going to be the answer. Yes. Any confusions, anything that is coming to your mind, you would be having 1000 questions you guys can ask me.
No questions.
Wait 1 second. Let me check. Uh, Abdullah, Ariba, Bipesh, Nurulen, Umaiza, and Urva. Anything that you guys were not
No
able to
questions,
understand?
ma'am. No, miss.
Okay. All right. Okay. Perfect. Now, this was just one way of finding the equation, right? This was just one way. Like, I was writing down the formula again and again, y minus y1 equals mx minus x. But before that, let me just give you guys a task for now, just so I can see if you guys are comfortable with it or not. When I give you questions in class, that does not mean that I'm trying to, just give you some burden. Yes, please keep your mics muted. I just, 1 second. Yes, please mute your mic, Ariba. Your mic is on mute. Please mute
Oh,
it.
sorry, ma'am.
No, it's completely fine. Okay. So let me give you a question. Question number 3. Find equation of straight line, and here's the line. It's -1 and this one is 2. This is your x-axis and this is your y-axis. It's 2 and it's yes. Okay. The question says find the equation of a straight line, and then yellow line is basically the line, okay, whose equation you need to find. Take 3 minutes. I'm here, right here. If you come across any difficulty, anything, ask me directly, okay? And try doing it slowly. No need to hurry, okay? No need to rush. Yes, well done, Bipesh. Excellent. And all of you still have 1.5 minutes. Just take your time and then do it, okay? Very good, Ariba. Well done. Excellent, Taha. Your answer is also correct. Yes, I'm pretty sure all of you can do it. Don't mind sending your attempts. It's completely fine. I would not announce anything. You guys can directly message me. I just need to see if you guys are able to think in the right direction or not. Yes. Some of the students did not send me anything. Just send whatever you got. I would not mind any, weird answer. I am used to such things, and that's completely normal for me. Very good, Muis. That's also correct. Yes, anyone else? Acha, okay. So let's quickly see. Most of you were able to do it, and here for this question again, the basic idea was that 2 points exactly were not given. Okay, so you need to use the same logic that if the y coordinate is -1 on the y-axis, the x coordinate would be 0 and the y coordinate would be -1. Similarly, if the x coordinate is 2 on the x-axis, the y coordinate is going to be 0. And now once you have 2 points, you can easily find the gradient using y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Use any of the 2 points and then find the equation. Okay. So those who were not able to do it, I'm pretty sure you guys would be able to do it now. Another way of finding this equation is basically this. Let's talk about it over here. Okay. So for this question, I'm pretty sure you guys would have used this formula. It's y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. This is what we have discussed, okay? It could be that you have done it through some other method because you guys were, able to do it correctly. But you can also do it through this formula. Formula number 2 is y equals mx plus c. Okay, now what exactly do we need to plug in? This x and y is fixed, just like the first formula. This x right here and this y right here, like these two are fixed. We don't plug in any value in these. Okay, but again, this x and this y, like they're fixed. But what do you need to plug in? You need to plug in m here and you need to plug in c here. So m is same, like we had an m here, m was the gradient, and this m, like both these m's are same. Both of them are basically the gradients. It's y2 minus y1 equals x2 minus x1. That's fine. Okay, very good, Urva. That's correct. The c is basically your y-intercept. So if let's say the y-intercept is given, or if by looking at the graph, you guys are easily able to identify the y-intercept. So you're only supposed to find the gradient and just plug in the gradient and the y-intercept. For example, if we do this question using this formula, so m is basically y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Again, you need to find out which point is first, second. You can think about any point as first or second. Let's do it other way around. This is the second point. Let's say this is the first point. So this is going to be x2, y2. This is going to be x1 and y1. Okay. Now y2 minus y1. So this would imply it's -1 minus 0 divided by 0 minus 2. Okay, so it's y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, and this would give you 1 by 2. So all of you were able to find 1 by 2 as the gradient. That is same. And if I directly plug in the gradient and the y-intercept, what is the y-intercept? This is what exactly your y-intercept is. Y-intercept is basically the point at which your line is cutting the y-axis, okay? And x-intercept is basically the point at which your line is cutting the x-axis. So y-intercept is -1 and x-intercept is 2. So the C is basically your y-intercept. It's y-intercept, okay? So if we plug in, we would get y equals m turned out to be 1 by 2x, and the y-intercept is -1. So this would have been the answer, and both the answers are same. You can use this formula, you can use this formula. It totally depends upon whatever you have been told in the question, right? If you have the y-intercept, no need to go for formula 1, just use the second formula. And if you don't have the y-intercept, you can use the first formula. So any difficulties with the idea, anything that you guys were not able to understand?
No, ma'am.
Understood.
Okay, so one last thing. In the previous two examples, you did not look at the y-intercept because you guys did not know about that method. You used this formula number 1, but eventually you got y equals 3 by 2x plus 3. It is y equals mx plus c. So this 3 right here is again going to be your y-intercept. Just look at it. This is your y-intercept. So your learning point is that even if you're using the first formula, even if you're not using y equals mx plus c, still after simplification, when you would have something of this type, you guys would be able to see that what exactly your y-intercept is. Okay, again, this was the beginning question. Here we did not talk about y-intercept at all, but after simplification, this is y equals mx plus c. So this 3 by 2 is basically your y-intercept. Okay, so if, let's say, if I continue this line, or if I would have made this line properly on a proper axis, you guys would be able to see that the line was cutting the y-axis at 3 by 2. So this way or the other, finally, your equation would be in this format. Okay. Yes. Anything that is coming to your mind that you guys were not able to understand?
No, ma'am.
Understood.
Okay. All right. That is perfect. So what is C? Okay. So I'll tell you. C is basically the y-intercept. Okay. This is a graph. This point right here, the point at which your line is cutting the y-axis, is basically your y-intercept. And the point at which your line is cutting the x-axis is basically your x-intercept. Okay. Again, look at this. The yellow line is cutting the y-axis at -1. So this -1 was your y-intercept. The C is y-intercept. And for C, I wrote -1. Okay. So y-intercept is just the y-coordinate of the point that is cutting the y-axis, basically. Yes. Is it clear now, Urva? Understood? Okay. All right. Perfect. So I hope that this is clear. All right. Let me just stop the recording